about to give birth and so is still drinking. I asked my so to go easy on alcohol for the last half of my pregnancy to be ready for labor. I am now in my 38th week, potentially being induced any day due to complications, and he has been drunk every day. He refuses to admit he has a problem. I am at my wit's end. I am heavily leaning towards not allowing him to be at the birth regardless if he has been drinking or not. Labor is not the time to be stressing about this. I've tried talking to him about it, and if it doesn't end in a fight he just denies there's a problem. I don't know what to do anymore. Any advice would be appreciated. Edit, some extra information that from many comments may be relevant. I think so. Maybe what would be considered a functioning alcoholic. He goes to work every day, he helps around the house, and he is a good father to our other 2 children. But he gets drunk every night. This drinking behavior has only really started, and became a problem, since COVID. There was a brief time, about 8 months, after the birth of our second child that alcohol became an issue. This was 4 years ago, and we had put it down to anxiety after complications after the birth, and our son spent time in the ICU. COVID happened, and then the drinking started again. I am extremely concerned about the possibility of accidental harm to the baby. Of course, I am not scared of him. There is no abuse. I have talked to him about different ways to manage the drinking, attempts to negotiate appropriate amounts, times, etc. But the issue, as initially stated, he doesn't believe he has a problem. I will tell him how I'm feeling and will be sure to be very clear that if he is drinking he will not be welcome in the delivery room. Thank you for everyone's responses. I assure you I have read them all and appreciate each contribution. I think he needs a wake-up call, and if that means not being there when your child is born, then that's how it has to be. But being drunk isn't going to be good for a learning child either, so things need to change sooner than later. This is terrible. I'm sorry you have this stress while pregnant. I'd go to some Al-Anon support groups when you can. They will be really helpful. I would even stay elsewhere after the baby is born for a while until he gets his shit together. Either he will suck it up and stop drinking for his child, or he will keep drinking and you can be with someone else who supports you. And while he's not in the room for the birth, the nurses may have a chance to ask you if you feel safe going home to your so. It's okay to say no. I was too scared to say no and ended up with a sad life that I hated for another 5 years before I got the strength to leave. Don't waste your time. Do what's right for you and your baby. You don't have to wait around for another person to get their shit together if they've proved they won't already. Giving birth is such a personal and sometimes traumatizing experience that I feel like you don't need the extra stress. If you feel that not letting him in the room is a good idea, then you should definitely do that! Exclamation mark. Much more of a problem than you realize. He's an alcoholic, and at this point may be extremely difficult to stop or slow down by himself. Unfortunately, you can't worry about him but need to worry about yourself and baby. Give him the ultimatum: go get help, rehab, or don't be in our lives anymore. FYI, alcoholics aren't good fathers. I, 26F, gained custody of my 16F sister and could use some parenting advice. Hello Reddit. I could really use any and all advice here. To preface, I, 26F, come from a very strict and abusive home. I have several siblings, but the youngest, 16F, is the one who's going to be mentioned in this story. I ran away at 17, worked my ass off, went to uni, and now have a decent job with good benefits. My parents went through some financial strife and I applied to court for custody of my little sister. A judge ruled in my favor, but it was a close thing. I've moved my sister in with me in my 2-bedroom apartment. She gets to stay in her old school, and I have her on my benefits plan. She's very quiet, but so far she seems happy. She is the type to hide her own sadness for the sake of others though. I've signed her up for therapy, but that's just started, so no real results yet. She really likes cooking, so I've made sure that we cook together every dinner. If she's free/has time, but Fridays are reserved for terrible movies, bad dancing, takeout experimentation, games, and pillow fights. Want her to feel special, loved, and at home here. So Reddit, I could use your help. I wasn't expecting to be a parent, I'm still her older sister, let alone so young and to a teenager. I think I've got the necessities down but could use any and all helpful advice. Any ideas what to potentially expect? I'm also terrified of being like my parents when it comes to discipline and am afraid I'll swing too far the other direction. She's a brilliant, kind, and funny girl, but I'd be naive to think that I wouldn't have to discipline her at some point. Honestly, just any and all parenting tips could be useful here, especially given the current global situation. I want to make sure she's full of love and care and has the best opportunities going forwards. She's really an amazing kid and just the kindest soul. Update, thanks for the awards and feedback everyone. You've all been so kind. I'll do my very best to work on the points and suggestions made down below, such as setting out clear boundaries and consequences so she knows what to do and what not to do and what to expect, keep open communication, etc. Honestly, I cannot thank you all enough for your help. Take care out there everyone. I wish you all the best in the world. I think you've got a great start. I think the most important thing is for her to feel loved, to know that she can talk to you about anything, even if it's embarrassing or strange, and to remember that your siblings, you are not her parents, so your relationship is going to be a bit different. Thanks for commenting. I'm really hoping we can reach that point of trust. You couldn't tell my parents anything, so it'll definitely take some time. She did talk to me about a guy she has a crush on the other day, which is something my parents never would have permitted, so baby steps. About rules and boundaries, you and she should develop them together. So for chores, calling when someone will be late, etc. You both negotiate and come up with a workable plan. She's more likely to adhere to them if she had help constructing those boundaries. You have to adhere to them too. So if the rule is that she has to be home after school but has to call if something comes up, you do the same thing for work. If she has to make her bed, you make your bed. Let her come up with some reasonable requests too. Maybe you stock a certain food she likes or toiletries/hygiene products without being asked as a chore, checking for them, inventorying, keeping them ready. Maybe she has money anxiety because of past shut-off notices, so you promise to pay on time and let her know it's done. Some people will tell you that you are giving up some parental authority by doing this. Argue that by ceding some authority, you're making her a part of your household, someone with a stake in the way things run. Consent of the governed, if you will. It won't always go smoothly, but it may build in her a confidence that she matters and that doing the right thing matters. Edit, they don't all have to be serious. You don't have to negotiate everything at once. Maybe Sunday is laundry in the morning and wearing pajamas only in the afternoon. Thursday is trash television night. What does she think a reasonable consequence for not making her bed is? She has to recite one limerick. The point is that the decisions get made together. I'll go ahead and lay this out there. Go ahead and have the alcohol, drugs, and sex talks. Commit to coming to pick up her up, no questions, from any drinking situation at any hour anywhere. Emphasize that this goes double for any situation in which she feels pressured to drink, use drugs, or have sex. Tell her and mean it. You can lay groundwork that there will be a discussion later, but it will be a discussion and not a freak out. That does not have to mean there are no consequences for poor decisions, but there should be no punishment for calling you in order to bail out of an unsafe situation. Your goal is to empower her to make good decisions. If you haven't already, get her set up with a gynecologist to have a sexual health check, discuss birth control options, and provide for her appropriately. Go ahead and buy her some condoms and show her how to properly use them so that she has those available if she is not on the pill or another form of birth control. She can always put birth control on the shopping list, no questions asked. And finally, you mentioned she has a crush. Talk to her about establishing good and open communication with a partner. That includes talking to people whom she has a crush on. If she understands how to express her needs and speak up for herself, she is less likely to put up with abusive relationships. From a social worker's perspective, I love it all so far. I think you'll want to make sure you're in therapy as well, so you can continually bounce ideas off someone and hear an unbiased feedback on what you do from week to week. I think the advice I can best give is that structure is very good for dealing with trauma. Work with her on a daily schedule, and once it's where you both like it, stick with it. Every day from 1 to 3 my kids, at my job, are quiet time in their rooms with whatever it is they want to keep them entertained, and they come out for a snack, and then it's time to do something engaging and physical. Obviously you won't be able to keep the type of schedule I do at my job, but routines are a godsend, and I've seen some real rebellious kids turn into sweethearts because once they get out of survival mode from the trauma they experienced, they'll begin to really embrace the change and look forward to self-improvement. Boundaries are really important to set early, just like when you get a new roommate and you talk about whether or not you're going to share groceries and what to do if you eat someone else's comfort food. You'll want to make sure that she understands that if she breaks the boundary you set, then the consequences will be X. And talking about why the rules are the way they are instead of just telling her themes the rules, suck it up, will really help with the relationship between the pair of you as well. You're doing something amazing and difficult, but your sister is lucky to have someone like you in her life. Don't forget to lean on your community for support. Good luck. No expert here, but seems you have it down. Do what's in her best interest. You are paying attention to her likes and making sure to give positive reinforcement. Text. Cooking. You were once that age, so remember how shitty that can be sometimes. Just give her tone and she'll open up. From the sounds of it, if you can give her a stable home and relationship, she'll flourish. Good luck, and remember, no one gets it right all the time. We all fuck up. It's what you do to fix that and admit your mistake that matters. I'm still learning that every day with my young ones. Best of luck. You are already killing it. Keep up the good work. Honestly, thank you so much for this comment. Made me tear up a little. I promise to try my best, but it's nice to just take a breath and get rid of that anxiety of being perfect. Would it be weird to get my JFS mom something for Valentine's Day? My girlfriend has been living with her mom because of COVID. I've seen her mom a lot as a result. My girlfriend's dad died somewhat recently, and this will be her mom's first Valentine's Day without her spouse of 30 years. Her mom is a generous and kind person. I thought it might be nice to get her flowers or something of a similar sentiment. The hope being to make her feel appreciated and less alone. Is it be weird to get someone you're not romantically involved with something for Valentine's Day? Maybe you and your girlfriend could plan a gift together, like have a blanket made with pictures of her husband so she can snuggle up in it. Flowers, her favorite candy. Very sweet and very thoughtful of you. Sounds like they're both lucky to have you in their lives. That would be a kind, generous gesture, and it would impress your girlfriend too. It would be really kind. I think it's not weird unless you add romantic undertones to it. If your GF can keep a secret, then ask her how she feels about it. If good, brainstorming with her what to gift could work well. This mentioning it to her will remove any potential weirdness, although it sounds like a lovely idea.